Sawadee Krap, and welcome to another episode for the Funkit Pod. And this time around, it's media time. So it's the media cast here for the Funkit Pod, and we talk about what happened in the media, why did the things happen in the media, and try to just to make sense of a few things that we've seen in the media. And I have 4 things I want to discuss today. 3 things that are happening in the media right now, and then one quick book recommendation that I just finished reading, my first book of the year 2022, and I just thought I'm going to recommend it and just let you know what's happening in there, because it's also related to media. So first things first, I'm the realist. Well, what's happening right now? What's big news in the media right now? Of course, Spotify in the news. Because of Joe Rogan and Neil Young pulling his music from Spotify because he thinks Joe Rogan spreads misinformation in regards to the vaccine and so on. And then Joni Mitchell jumped in, and I think a few other not that famous, that's not a knock on them, way more famous than me, so not that famous musicians who followed suit and who called for others to stand together to do this. Now, I'm not going to argue the point whether or not I'm for it or against it, because I'm going to try to look at it from like a media point of view. All right. So very briefly though, just my 2 cents very, very quickly, not arguing pro or con. I think it's very difficult to say who's right here, because of course, it's kind of interesting that, for example, Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, who grew up became popular in the 60s, and so on. Where it was all about make love, no war, freedom, and all those things, free speech being really important and really mattering. And they were in the center, in the heart of this revolution, so to speak, was we speak our minds, we tell the government that we don't agree with them, and so on. And now they're the ones trying to force the hand of Spotify, trying to make Spotify pull Joe Rogan, pull Joe Rogan. And they not like those doctors who said Spotify should just say something or have a disclaimer or whatever, but Neil Young said him or me, and that's just a weird move, cause that's kind of like censorship, right? Kind of like him or me. So yeah, then of course Spotify, now we talk about the media business point of view, of course Spotify is going to protect their $100 million investment, or probably way more, right? So they're going to protect this. They're like, hey, he's got the biggest reach of any artist we have on the platform on almost a daily level, probably. It's insane how many people listen to Joe Rogan podcast, right? So of course they protect it. So then this thing, him or me, is a easy decision for Spotify. Now, of course, also from a Neil Young point of view, he wants to be in the media to get attention, which works. We're talking about him. He's in all the mainstream media, all CNN, Guardian, whatever. They all talk about it. So this worked, of course. So he gets attention for this. And again, I'm not saying it's bad or it's against him. So his approach also works. He wanted attention. He gets attention. If he would just say, hey, I disagree with what's on the Joe Rogan Experience, then people would be like, yeah, okay, cool, and move on. But now he's like, hey, I'm pulling my music. At least that gets more attention than just speaking out about it. So and then Joni Mitchell joining, of course, and a few others that I don't remember, to be honest. I'm sorry. But it also gets more eyes on the prize, so to speak, of course. Also, then just a quick background info, if in case you don't know him, you know Neil Young, and you're just like, what? The thing, well, he's been super famous and he's got some very famous songs. But the thing is also that he was really sick when he was a kid. I forgot the name, some polio kind of thing, I believe. And they didn't have the vaccines when he was a kid back then. So he had to struggle for a while. And apparently he has 2 kids that are also disabled to some extent. I don't know exactly which extent. But so this makes him even more invested in saying hey guys, come on. I struggled, my kids struggle, and I struggled back then, because I didn't have a vaccine. So now that there's a vaccine, I'm really into pro-vaccine. So you can see his point, I believe. So I'm not hating on him, or I'm also not hating on Joe Rogan. Even though you could say sometimes his excuse of hey, I'm just a platform. I just let people talk. I'm not a specialist. So you have to make up your mind by yourself. So yeah, that's true, but you're the biggest platform out there, and you give certain people a platform to talk. So still, I mean, would he invite Hitler if Hitler was still alive, for example? And I subscribe to the Joe Rogan Experience. So I'm not a Joe Rogan hater. I'm just saying sometimes maybe you do want to vet the people that are coming in a bit more before you invite them, for example, or with I don't know, be a bit better prepared at times maybe, and not try to like push a narrative. So I know, for example, I understand that Joe Rogan is mad at CNN because CNN like really effed him over there with like he's taking horse deworming and so on, and so of course he's gonna wanna get back at them. But then just pushing a narrative that's like just always contradictory towards him, and is saying just because might also not be the best thing to do here. But again, we're not saying left or right. I'm just trying to explain what's happening. So back to media point of view, right? So again, of course, Spotify is protecting Joe Rogan, obviously, because, well, that's their biggest investment ever, probably. So of course they're protecting him, which is then of course also interesting because this might be the first time that a media company doesn't cave to political correctness and the wokeness movement. And again, I say this without judging any of those movements, but usually when like this wokeness movement starts and goes after a company, the company eventually kind of caves in and says like, okay, let's find a middle way, a middle ground or something like this. Here in this case, Spotify says, whatever, do what you want. We're not caving. It was like when employers said they want to walk out because of Joe Rogan and the vaccine misinformation that's on there, and now it's the same thing. So it's kind of interesting to see that Spotify is standing up for, again, their biggest investment here. I'm not saying they're standing up for their beliefs or like the founders stand up for their beliefs of free speech. I'm thinking it's really just standing behind the biggest investment and protecting it, and because they want to earn more money like than they spend on it, of course. Also, again, like then from another point of view, saying it's Joe Rogan or me, it was never going to work. It's all just for the attention to get the eyeballs on their respective causes, on that one cause now that's like fighting the misinformation that comes out of the Joe Rogan Experience at times. That's what they say. Again, I'm not saying it's misinformation. All right. So I think that's just all that is there. That there is to it. I'm sorry, not a native speaker, and it's very late when I'm recording this video, but I wanted to talk about it. So I think that's all there is to this. There's nothing else to it. It's really just like an attention thing. It's like I want to be in the news because I want eyes on what's happening. And if Neil Young just says, I disagree with Rogan, no one's going to care. Now that he says, I'm going to pull my music, people talk about it. And even if you make those jokes on Twitter or whatever, you have those memes like Neil Who and like, no one listens to it anyways, and all their fans are too old to stream anyways. Yeah, all good jokes. You still talk about him. You still know what's happening. So at least he got the attention that I'm sure he wanted, because he wanted it for this case. And I don't think he wants it like on him. I think he wants the attention. I do think he wants the attention on like what's at stake rather than just on himself, for example. And Joni Mitchell helping him like get more attention, and a few others. Understandable to some extent, of course. Yeah. But then the last thing I want to add from a personal point of view, also, then everyone was like hating on Joe Rogan right now. I mean, come on. You believe this dude who repeatedly says he's a comedian, he's a MMA announcer, and like he hosted Fear Factor back then, and you base your decisions on what he's saying, on the people that he has on the podcast? No, why would you do that, right? So, I mean, of course, we can think for ourselves. So if it would come down to me, I would say, of course, leave the Joe Rogan Experience on Spotify. People are smart enough to make up their own minds if they listen to it. What bothers me the most about the Joe Rogan Experience on Spotify right now is that even though I have a premium Spotify account, there's still advertisement in the Joe Rogan Experience, like 1 or 2 ad spots, and it's terrible editing. They're just randomly in there, like while Joe or a guest is talking, and all of a sudden you have like an ad for 30 seconds. What the fuck, Spotify? That's my biggest issue with Spotify and Joe Rogan. Like, why do I pay the premium membership, subscription, whatever, and then there's still freaking advertisement in there? What the... that annoys me to no extent, and that's gonna make me maybe cancel Spotify, because what the hell, man? calming down again. Other than that, so again, from a media and business point of view, we talked about it. That's all that is there. That's all there is to it. Oh my God, why do I have so many problems with this? That's all there is to it. Now I have it. So let me know what you think, of course. Cancel, #cancel Joe Rogan, support Neil Young, or the other way around. Let me know what you think. I'm quite curious to hear like some feedback there. Okay, two more things that in the media right now. One thing that I saw yesterday, Minnie Mouse is getting a new outfit, redesigned outfit. She's gonna ditch her dress and she's gonna have a pantsuit now. Like a bluish, like some blue pattern. First, it looks terrible, I think, but again, maybe I'm not the most stylish person, as you can see here with my black hat and my black t-shirt. From the goat, by the way, that's why I'm wearing it. But, okay, so never mind the pattern, but I want to know what Jordan Peterson is saying to this. So yeah, Minnie Mouse now redressing into a pantsuit because #girlboss. Obviously, girls can do anything that boys can do as well. Does that mean though girls shouldn't be wearing dresses anymore? Disney, are you saying that girls who wear dresses are not right? Or they shouldn't be wearing dresses? Are you telling them don't wear dresses? #don't wear dresses. #Disney hates dresses. I'm exaggerating on purpose, of course, right now, but this is going to be an interesting discussion that's going to be had. Of course, like, why are they doing this? It's obvious. They want to be trendy. They want to be like on topic, of course, on brand also. Like they want to be embraced. They don't want to get canceled for, portraying old school stereotypes and so on. And that's why, of course, they're doing this right now. Yeah, but it's also an interesting discussion to be had, I believe. Will it be successful? Probably. Because, I don't know, parents these days, that sounds way too negative. I don't mean it. Like, I mean, like, parents in these days, parents in 2022 and so on, they are more woke than before, of course. And they're like, yeah, sure, cool. Let's embrace that. Let's show my daughter that she can do whatever she wants. And she can also wear what she wants, of course. But what I said earlier, the exaggerating part, there will be a discussion saying like, so you are saying that girls shouldn't wear dresses and so on. And I'm looking forward to hearing and seeing this discussion, especially then, of course, Jordan Peterson's point of view and people that are supporting Jordan Peterson. Joe Rogan probably as well going to jump on it this week in the Joe Rogan Experience, just saying how silly that is. Why shouldn't the girls be allowed to wear dresses and so on? I'm saying that's what I expect to happen. I'm not saying that I'm saying that. Okay. All right. If you would ask me about my point of view in this regard, I would have said that there are probably more pressing issues that need to be addressed. However, I do understand why Disney is doing it from, again, a media business point of view, because that's what you do right now. And that's what gets you the bucks, probably. Also, then the kids buy new toys and so on. So, that's going to be helpful for Disney as well, because in the end, of course, it's just all about money. Do they really care to be whether or not they're woke, politically correct, and so on? Probably not. So it's all about the money. Just saying. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this discussion with people like Jordan Peterson and so on, who definitely gonna hate on it. So I cannot wait. I also want to know, of course, what do you think about like Minnie Mouse's redesign, not wearing dresses anymore and wearing like a pantsuit and so on. So very curious to hear what you are saying about this. And lastly, in the same like, I don't know, topic, theme kind of thing, the redesign of the M&Ms. You heard it probably also this past week. The M&Ms. I'm Slim Shady. Yes, I'm the real Shady. All the other Slim Shadys are just imitating. Yeah, spitting bars here. So the M&Ms have been redesigned. Most notably, of course, the green M&M not wearing stripper shoes anymore. That's about what I read they've been called before. But now wearing like more moderate shoes. Yes. So, question. What do we think about that, of course? What do we think about the redesign of the that even leaves me speechless, the M&Ms. same thing that I just said for Minnie Mouse. The reason, of course, I don't want to be canceled. I want to be in the news because I'm doing something good, because I'm making them like more appropriate, like the others too, like less anxious, less angry, less bullyish, and so on. So I want to be in the news for that, because look at me, I'm a cool brand, I'm a nice brand, look at me, how nice I am. And she's not like this cliche girly girl anymore, but she's like hashtag girl boss, of course, as well. So that's, of course, why M&M is doing this as well. Now, same thing as just said for Minnie Mouse, gonna happen here too. Jordan Peterson is gonna have a field day with that. Joe Rogan also. I already heard something funny on Andrew Schultz and Flagrant 2, of course, about like how she's slutty and she knows it. Which she looked like, I mean, it's an M&M, but I mean, those poses like were kind of interesting. But that's why they, of course, change it. But the thing is, you learn to love those characters, and then all of a sudden they change the characters. But then again, you, like as us, me right now, for example, we might not be the target audience forever, right? Because, of course, the sweet stuff, target audience, parents, children, and so on. So, and of course, they want to make it more appealing for that audience, of course. So I'm really interested to also, again, same as with Minnie Mouse, so that's why I just bring it all together here today. What do you guys think? Do you think, A, that's great? Yes. Do you think that's too PC, too woke? Do you think it's just a cash grab, for example? Because I think, once again, in the end, it all comes down to money. If there would not be any money in there to be made, they wouldn't do it. Who's the parent company of M&M? Mars? I think it's Mars, isn't it? Mars wouldn't do it. Disney wouldn't do that. No one would do it if there wouldn't be any money in there. Right? So, of course, they want to avoid being canceled. They want to get a pat on the back and therefore make more money with it. I think that's just the obvious reason why they're doing it. Again, please do let me know what you think about this, and if you agree with me or if you disagree with me. Okay, the last thing here, what I said earlier, a quick book recommendation. Hope it works with the camera. Sinan Aral, professor, I think at MIT as well. The book is called The Hype Machine: How Social Media Disrupts Our Elections, Our Economy, and Our Health, and How We Must Adapt. Yeah, it's a bit of a cheesy book cover with the hype machine disruption, but it's actually quite nice. So the back reads, The Hype Machine is MIT professor Sinan Aral's urgent landmark book about social media, an insider's tour of how it affects our decision-making and shapes our world in ways both useful and dangerous. Now you might say, yeah, but I mean, that's obvious. And I thought the same, and I agree. I also thought, when I read the title, I'm like, yeah, of course, social media influences elections, economy, and so on. That's obvious. However, he explains like quite nicely, quite easy to digest. Like, it's not like, so this is not the Bible. Okay, so this is nothing that like rattles your world, makes you go, oh my God, but it explains like some connections very nicely. It explains also like where we came from, like how everything developed. And so you can also see where this might go, actually. This is something that I also try to explain to my students very often. Students, if someone's listening, watching or so, why do I talk about development of social media and where it came from and how it developed? Because then we see how people reacted to it, and then also can see like, oh, this is where it might be going. So that's also something that this book is doing, The Hype Machine. And it shows, to be quite fair, to be quite honest, like a few chapters or like paragraphs, pages in there are like, yeah, I know, of course. So it's nothing super like crazy, no super new revelations, but the contexts are quite nicely explained. So I think that's just something nice to start the year off with if you're into like this whole social media kind of thing. All right, so that's the media cast for this week. We'll be back with more news, with more, I hope, interesting topics, with more. I should make this a segment in the podcast. What would Jordan Peterson say? He would say, wake up early and make your bed. I'm sorry for this. I do like some of the things he says. I think the older he gets right now, the more often I find myself disagreeing, but that's a different topic. Maybe we should have like a Jordan Peterson episode on this media cast. Jordan Peterson's point of view, all things I don't know, hyper-reality, postmodernism, and so on. More on this soon. Okay, that's it for this week, though. As always, like, share, subscribe. That really helps. Rate this podcast because then more people can find it, and then we have kind of bigger, broader discussions with more people, which is, of course, always fun. Until then, as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll see and talk to you soon. Sawadee Cup.